I've always painted with regular acrylics, but they dry so fast, which can be good for layering, but sometimes you want more time to blend or you don't want your paint to dry on your palette so quickly. So today I wanted to try something different, golden open slow drying acrylics. I've never used them before, so I'm really curious to see how they'll work. For my first try, I picked a photo I took the other day at dusk. The moonlight casted this really calm glow over the park, and I thought it would be great to capture this on canvas. So I started with my sky as usual. I mixed some paints on my palette, and right away I could tell how smooth and high quality this paint was. The creamy texture made mixing it super easy, and I was really happy with how rich the color was. I started laying out my colors on the canvas, and I didn't feel like I needed to rush this step, which was something I'd never experienced before. It was really nice to just relax and focus on getting the colors right and in the right places. And it gave me time to just slowly blend them together without worrying about them drying up. And something I wasn't really expecting about using this paint was how it did actually dry as I was painting. But it didn't just fully dry on me like normal acrylic does. It sort of went into this in-between stage, which made it really easy to manipulate and blend it for the sky. I had a fan on in the room when I was painting this, and so I think that might have accelerated the drying a little bit. But it was interesting to see how your environment can kind of change the way this paint behaves. So after finishing putting in my sky and blending it all together, it was pretty much dry enough for me to feel comfortable going right into my clouds and layering them over top. And I think it was really during this part of the painting where I realized how much I was actually slowing down and just taking my time, focusing on the little brush strokes, and really enjoying myself. I didn't feel rushed. I could just relax and look at my reference photo and figure out where I wanted these little details of the clouds to be and how I wanted the shapes to look. And that was something I really liked about this. I felt like I was able to achieve that realistic look a lot easier. It was really great. I felt like I could achieve those sharper edges also, as you can see with these clouds towards the bottom of the sky. And it was cool that you could just use water the same way you would with regular acrylic. And I think that's something that really interested me about this paint. Because I didn't want to go to something like oil where I would need linseed oil or some other kind of paint thinner. That's also something that was really great about this paint, that I could basically take all the skills that I've already learned acrylic painting for all these years and apply it to this paint very easily. But moving on, I decided to work on the tree line next. So I ended up doing this the next day, so it was able to fully dry before I started this. But something that I learned through watching other people paint with this is that you can force dry it with a hair dryer if you want to. And you'll see me do that in a little bit. But working on these trees, I just continued taking my time and using a small brush and just getting those perfect silhouettes of the trees. And I was really happy with how the trees were turning out. After I was finished with my tree line, I decided it was time to start looking at the foreground. So I went ahead and mixed up some colors that I could block in this area with. And that was something else I was really impressed with these paints. I don't know really what the difference is, if it's just the quality, but my ability to mix up the color I wanted and kind of match it to my reference photo was a lot better than how I normally mix up colors. I feel like I was able to match colors really well, and so these colors that I ended up blocking in were pretty spot on the first time, and I was pretty happy with what they look like. And then once I blocked in all of my areas, my dark areas and my green, lighter green areas, I went ahead and just kind of let it dry for like 30 minutes or so. So going into the next layer, I decided I would add a little bit more yellow ochre and some white to just start to lighten up these colors and kind of bring out that moonlit glow to this meadow. And then once I got sort of this middle second layer done and some of those darker values and lighter greens where I wanted them, I just took the hairdryer to it real quick just to make sure that when I come over with this detail layer that I won't have any issues with it accidentally blending into that color beneath, or sometimes it'll pick up that color beneath. So it was real easy to just go quickly over it. And then coming in with my final detail layer, I just took my time and mixed up a few colors. I got some yellows, some lighter greens for the grasses, and then also some white for my little white flowers. And it was just really nice. The quality of this paint, I was able to get much stronger colors without putting in as much effort. And I was just taking my time with this detail layer. I was looking at my reference photo, slowly building these layers. Something that was also cool that I noticed was I'm able to water it down a bit and thin out the paint, and it makes it really great at getting those nice crisp lines that you want. That was something that I was sort of worried about. Was I going to be able to get those crisper lines, or was it just going to be kind of soft and hard to get that? But I didn't have that issue at all. Another really cool thing about this paint is I've got this special palette. It's called a Stay Wet palette, and it's got a little sponge in there that you can put a little water on, and when you close it up, it will make your paint last weeks. And apparently this works for regular acrylic too, so we might have to try that out and see how that goes. But that made it honestly so much more efficient because I could just come back the next day, open the lid, and all of my colors were still there. I didn't have one color disappear on me from the beginning of this painting. I feel like I should say at least one negative thing about this paint because I've just been hyping it up this whole time, but I really did have an awesome experience with this piece. But if I were to say something negative about it, or a con, you could say, I would say maybe sometimes you want it to dry quicker so you can layer, and it's just, I guess it's a slight hassle to do the hair dryer, but honestly, it really wasn't for me. Maybe another thing is that it's a little bit of a learning curve. It's very slight, but there are some little differences in the way you do things, but I really don't think it's that hard. Maybe it takes like one in-depth painting like this, one or two, and you kind of get a feel for it. But all in all, that's pretty much it for this painting. I had an amazing time. I definitely 100% will be using this again, and I'm excited to kind of see what I can do with it and what kind of paintings I can show you, and just really cool. I had so much fun with this. Thank you so much everyone for watching this video, for commenting, for liking, subscribing, and just being here in general. I'm really grateful for y'all all. I hope this inspired you to go out and try something new with your painting, if it's, getting this paint or just trying a different technique. Let me know in the comments what you think about this and give me some ideas for what you want me to paint next. As always, peaceful painting, and I can't wait to see you next time.